Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fat Bloonski's coming at your neck with a Forerunner build. Now, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video and I just want to apologize to you guys. But now I see some new content, I'm feeling a bit more inspired. I also have a couple of things I've been working on in the background, like I'm actually creating a Discord server for you guys. So if there's actually anybody who is experienced with creating Discord servers, if you could reach out to me, maybe we can work together on it, because I'm not too well versed in the Discord creation. I don't really know how to work with bots or anything like that. I mean, I've had one person help me a little bit, but I want someone who can like really create bots and knows how to manage it and all that stuff. So if you know anything or if you know anybody, please point them in my direction. All right, anyway, on to the build. Right now we're going to utilize the new Halo Magnum that came to Destiny 2 Forerunner. I've been having a blast with this thing. I don't have the catalyst yet, so I plan on remaking this build or making a different build once I have the catalyst. But if you like the pistol, if you like the sidearm and you want to build for it, here we go. I made a build with it, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So for this build, we're going to utilize Shade Binder. For our grenade, we're choosing dust fuel grenades because they got a little bit of a rework. So now they no longer pull enemies in, like you throw it, it would suck enemies into the grenade. It no longer does that, but it had its cooldown significantly reduced. At tier 3, it has its cooldown at 1 minute and 4 seconds, but since I have 100 discipline, at 100 discipline, you get your grenade back every 24 seconds. So every 24 seconds, I have a dust filled grenade, which is going to tie in very nicely to this build because I want to have a lot of enemies frozen so I can maximize the new Magnum's damage. So for our aspects, we're utilizing Ice Flare Bolts. We're also utilizing Glacial Harvest. I have Elemental Shards on, so we're going to take advantage of that as well. As for my fragments, we're using Whisper of Refractions. We're also using Whisper of Conductions. Now my two most important fragments here are Whisper of Rending. Kinetic weapons do increased damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. So my goal here is to try and buff up the new Forerunner exotic damage. So we're going to utilize Whisper of Rending. We're going to freeze a bunch of enemies, do a lot more damage. This actually got a buff. Now it does 100% more damage to, I'm not sure if it was to stasis crystals or frozen targets. It might just be stasis crystals, but it does more damage to frozen targets as well. So that's going to increase our damage as long as we're having them frozen. And we're also using Whisper of Hunger, so I get more melee energy whenever I collect stasis shards. Now onto my loadout. Of course, we got to use Forerunner. This is a Forerunner build. I've been having a blast with this pistol or with this sidearm. Honestly, I came from the Halo community when I was a kid. Halo was literally my childhood. Played all the Halos. My favorite one was Halo Reach, and you can't change my mind. Halo Reach was the best Halo. I don't care what anybody says. Halo Reach was the best Halo. But anyway, I'm loving this new exotic, and the intrinsic trait is Full Stop. Oversized sidearm with extended range, heavy caliber rounds. Fires full auto with increased fire rate. Deals increased precision damage to unshielded targets. So unshielded means that they just don't have any elemental shields, and in the PvP, as long as they don't have their shield up, you can do a lot of damage to them. Now the other perk on it is Pace Yourself. Tapping the trigger gives this weapon less recoil and improves accuracy, and it is a lot less recoil, so I highly recommend tapping the trigger. I use the full auto sometimes, but I'd rather just tap it. It's literally like completely stable if you tap the trigger. Now I don't have the catalyst yet, like I said in the beginning of the video, but what it does is once you get a kill, you can utilize like the alternate fire mode and it will consume some ammo, and you can throw a frag grenade, which you can then grenade jump like back in the day with Halo, or you could probably just do damage and kill enemies with it. So I can't wait. I'm currently grinding it out, but you have to get level 16 in the new Xur like vendor thing. So once you hit level 16 or rep 16 in that, then you can get the catalyst. As for the rest of my loadout, I am using a fusion rifle. Now as you guys can see, obviously I'm using double special weapons here, but I'm treating this like my primary weapon even though it's using special ammo. You do have a lot of ammo with it. I also have on sidearm reserves, so I'm kind of mitigating the fact that it is a special weapon and using special ammo. And then I'm using a fusion rifle because particle deconstruction, and I don't know, I like this gun, so I'm figuring I'd use it. You can use whatever you want here. And then since we're using particle deconstruction, I'd figure I'd use threaded needle. I would like to use Gallahorn, but unfortunately you can't have two exotics on, that would just be broken. Now moving on to my stats, we really have 3 important stats here. My first one is recovery. I have 103 recovery. Of course, this governs how fast I get my rift on my warlock and how fast my health comes back. Actually, on any class, just how fast your health comes back. So it is really good to have high recovery. We're also using 103 discipline. Now this, like I said, is going to make my dust field grenade come back at a base cooldown at 24 seconds. 24 seconds, I have a dust field grenade, I can freeze enemies, then I get my whole build going, get the elemental shards to proc, do extra damage to those frozen enemies with my kinetic weapon. So I really like the fact that they kind of like, yeah, they nerfed it by making it so it doesn't suck in enemies, but they made it a much shorter cooldown. So honestly, I don't really understand like why they would do that, because like, yeah, maybe it's the weakest grenade, but I think it's really good, like especially in harder content. If you can have a dust field grenade every 24 seconds, that's going to be good, because although it doesn't suck in enemies, it still lingers around. Then you can use Whisper of Endurance to make it linger longer, and you can just lock down chunky enemies and they can just stay frozen. So I don't know, that's just the way I see it, but it is what it is. Hey, I'll take it. 24-second grenades is amazing. Now the other third important stat is my strength. Now I do have very low strength at 37, but we have Whisper of Shards, and then was it Whisper of Shards? No, Whisper of Hungers is going to give me more melee energy whenever I do pick up these stasis shards or these elemental stasis wells. So that's just one way I'm going to combat that stat, because these are all my abilities that's going to allow me to freeze targets, which is what I want to do with this build. I want to freeze targets and then do as much damage as I can with the new exotic. Now moving on to my helmet, the two important mods we have here is of course our sidearm ammo finder. Now using this is going to allow me to find more sidearm ammo. The new exotic is considered a sidearm. So this also is going to allow me to find fusion rifle ammo, because that's also a special weapon. So as long as I have one of them on, I'm going to get ammo for the other weapon. And I guess since I'm using a linear fusion, I'll throw that on as well. So I'm not going to run, you know, sidearm ammo finder and fusion rifle ammo finder, just sidearm and a linear fusion. And then the other very important mod is elemental charge. Become charged with light by picking up an elemental well. If the elemental wells match your element type, your subclass, you gain 2 stacks of charged with light. Now moving on to my gauntlets, we have 3 important mods. Sidearm reloader, because that thing just has atrocious reload speed. Even with sidearm reloader, it just has very slow reload speed, so kind of got to combat that somehow. Now we're also using grenade kickstart. When your grenade is fully expended, gain grenade energy. This is one way I'm gonna just increase my grenade cooldown even more than the 24 seconds. I'm gonna have my grenade back. And then we're using elemental shards. Stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells for you. Does not apply to Crucible, Trials, or Iron Banner. So this is one way that I'm going to be able to get ability energy, just because they're stasis shards and I'm on a stasis subclass. And we're going to get elemental charge, which is going to make me become charged with light. And onto my chest piece, which is also my exotic piece of choice. We're using chromatic fire. And I feel like I just dusted off this exotic, because I have not used this exotic for a build in so long. I think the last one was my Dead Man's Tales build or something like that. But we're dusting it off because it recently got adjusted, so now we can utilize stasis subclasses as well. So if you're on a stasis subclass and you get killed with a non-elemental kinetic weapon, boom, it's going to create a stasis explosion. Now it doesn't freeze, it puts that effect on them. They get staggered a little bit, but it does not freeze them. That would have just been crazy. But it does cause like a dragonfly explosion, so you have some extra AoE damage and some extra ad clear. Especially with the sidearm, you want to do that as much as possible. You're going to get a lot of headshot kills, especially to a lot of the unshielded targets, and boom, you're going to create dragonfly explosions with this exotic. Now the other important mod we have on here is Swift Charge. Become charged with light by rapidly defeating combatants with pulse rifle, sidearms, or submachine guns. So I'm going to be getting a lot of kills with my sidearms, so figured I would use this Become charged with light, which is going to feed into the fact that I am using surprise attack. And onto my legs, the only mods that are really important here, of course, are sidearm scavenger, because I need to get as much sidearm ammo as possible. And then we're also using supercharge, so I can have 2 more stacks of light, or stacks of charge with light, and it's going to make it so I can have 4 stacks of charge with light. And onto my warlock bond, we're utilizing particle deconstruction. If you guys don't know how crazy this is, then like, where have you been living for the past couple months? Because this thing is just crazy. If you don't know, it just pretty much buffs up fusion rifles and linear fusions. It's crazy. If you don't have it, go get it right now. And the other mod we're using is surprise attack. While charged with light, reloading or readying a sidearm will consume all stacks of charged with light and convert them into stacks of a major damage buff, which are depleted as you damage combatants with that sidearm. So as long as I'm getting kills with the sidearm, I'm going to get stacks of charged with light. I reload or ready the sidearm, boom, I get these stacks. It's called like It's not called surprise attack. It's called like overcharged mag or something like that. It's going to do damage. It's going to increase your damage by a lot. When I had everything paired, like the Whisper of Rending and then the surprise attack buff, I was hitting like 20,000 to the head with this sidearm. So it's going crazy like with this Whisper of Rending. And if you can just get everything aligned perfectly, you can do some pretty crazy damage with the sidearm. And paired with the fact that you're going to get a lot of kills, so it's like you're never really going to be hurting for stacks of Charge of Light, paired with elemental shards, so you're freezing enemies, collecting those stasis shards, getting kills with the sidearm, becoming Charge of Light, reloading, getting a damage buff, doing damage to frozen enemies, which is going to do more damage. You guys can already see what's happening here. And for my warlock fashion, it's really hard to kind of stylize as exotic because it's just so bright and out there, like with these white lights right here. So I kind of had to go with that. I'm using this Vex little cube. Of course, I got my little harpy, and we went with like a black and blue look, and I'm using the vault of glass helmet. So if you guys want to see my shaders and my ornaments, here it is. You can screenshot this and you can use this fashion if you would like to. So let me just start this off by saying that this build, I guess you could say, is not in its final form. I don't have the catalyst yet. I am grinding for it, and I think once I do get the catalyst, this build is going to be that much better, and it might open up some other opportunities for some different builds and some other ways to use the hand. Jesus Christ, I'm calling it a hand cannon because that's kind of what it feels like, but the way to use a sidearm and stuff. But I'm really excited to get the catalyst. It's just such a long grind. But as for the build it is right now, it's really good. You got some ad clear, you get to use a new weapon, and it feels really good. Yeah, you don't have like a damage perk or something like that, but it feels nice. And I love Halo so much, at least the older ones. Not too much of a fan of the newer ones, but they were just like such a big part of my childhood. This is like such like a nostalgia trip for me because I'm using the Magnum. I'm trying to get a good roll of the battle rifle. We got the energy swords, we got the focus beams. There's so many Halo references, like the Malfeasance ornament is the pink mist, and I'm absolutely loving this 30th anniversary event. I have really been kind of burned out on Destiny recently, just been playing other games and stuff like that. But once I saw this, and I mean I was gonna plan on getting it anyway, but I saw the stuff that was coming to it, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. The activity's fun, the dungeon's great. And if you guys want to go to my Twitter, I actually wrote like a quick take on it on my Twitter, so if you go over there and check it out. But I'm loving this stuff. I'm loving the DLC. I'm loving the free stuff. I'm loving all the weapons. They have some great rolls. IS Luna is fantastic. You can get Outlaw Headstone, Outlaw Kill Clip, which is the role I got. Perpetual Motion Headstone. Like, it has so many fantastic perks, and I can't wait to farm up a good roll of that gun because I want it. I love all the stasis weapons, even though we only got like a couple, but they're just fantastic. They synergize so well with stasis, and I just feel like Destiny's heading in such a right direction. I just can't wait for it to be there already. Like, I just want it to be where I see it, and I know it's coming. I don't want to be patient. Like, I just can't wait for Witch Queen, the weapon crafting, Void 3.0, and eventually Solar and Arc 3.0. And then all the stuff they're going to do with that, the new exotics, and now we have variable cooldowns, which is, I've definitely been testing that, and that's an interesting thing to utilize and see really now what you can get away with. And I don't know, it's looking good for Destiny. You just need to be a little patient. I need to be a little patient, so that's what's going on right now for me. Definitely going to create more videos. There's a lot of things I have in mind right now. I'm currently working on a Titan video, putting it together. It's not quite there yet, but it's in the works. Like I also said in the beginning of the video, I did create a Discord. I've been trying to create everything by myself and create all the channels and then like trying to learn the bot and stuff like that. But if there's anyone out there that is definitely has more experience with that, let me know. We can be in touch, we can talk about it, see what we can come up with. But yeah, that's what I have in the works for you guys, because I want to kind of create a community with my subscribers and my followers and stuff like that. Because right now I feel like I want to engage with you guys more, but I just don't know how to. Like, I stream, of course I'm gonna start uploading more videos now, but I want there to be ways to that way we can just communicate, just like on Discord or over my social media. So I'm just trying to reach out to you guys and create a community, which is just going to get bigger and bigger, have more people to play with, more friends to play with, just have some laughs or memes or just the general discussions, debates, whatever it is. So if you guys are excited for that, if you guys are looking forward to that, let me know in the comments below, because that's something that's been on my mind a lot recently. How can I engage with you guys more? And I figured Discord was the first thing on my checklist, so I'm working on that right now as you guys speak. So let me know what you guys think, and I can't wait to read your guys' comments. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fan_Bloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.